What the FDA hormone therapy label change means for women. Why this matters. This is really an important moment for women's health. The FDA had removed the black box warning from hormone therapy. And while that might sound technical, it represents a major shift in how we understand menopause care, risk, and evidence. So, to put this in perspective, about 1.3 million women enter menopause every year in the United States. Over 60 million US women are over the age of 40, meaning they're approaching perimenopause, and menopause, or postmenopausal. Globally, more than 1 billion women are over age 40, and 25 million women enter menopause every year. Worldwide, this decision affects millions of women every single year. So, what was a black box warning? The black box warning was added after the results from the Women's Health Initiative were released in the early 2000s. Early headlines suggested that hormone therapy increased risks of breast cancer, heart disease, stroke, and the warning applied broadly without nuance. It didn't distinguish who the data applied to, when hormones were started, or what type of hormones were used. Everything was lumped together, and that created fear. So what does a black box warning mean? A black box warning is the strongest warning the FDA can place on a medication. It's meant to alert prescribers and patients to potentially serious risks. But when people see it, they often assume a medication is unsafe, even when that's not the full story. Black box warnings don't explain nuance. They don't adjust for age, timing, dose, or delivery method. They're really a broad caution. So, what did it say on estradiol labels? For estradiol and other menopausal hormone therapies, the label warned of increased risk of breast cancer, heart attack, stroke, blood clots, and probable dementia. Those warnings were based largely on early interpretations of older data, especially from women who started hormones well after menopause, over 10 years, closer to 15 years. And what the label didn't say was just as important. It didn't clarify that younger, recently menopausal women have a very different risk profile. And it didn't distinguish between oral hormones and newer transdermal options like patches, gels, sprays, rings. Black box warnings are actually very common. Primary care doctors and OBGYNs prescribe medications with black box warnings every day. Things like oral birth control pills, antidepressants, NSAIDs like ibuprofen, certain antibiotics, and some diabetes and heart medications. So black box warning doesn't mean never use it. It means use it thoughtfully in the right patient at the right time. And hormone therapy deserves the same evidence-based approach. The black box warning wasn't wrong, it was incomplete. Human impact: millions of women were told hormones were too dangerous, dismissed when they asked for help, left to suffer with hot flashes, sleep disruption, mood changes, bone loss, and sexual pain. Many were given antidepressants or told to just deal with it. So a critical data point is that experts estimate millions, likely over 10 million women in the United States alone went untreated despite being appropriate candidates. We know this because hormone therapy use dropped by more than 60% almost overnight after the warning. But before the WHI, roughly 40 to 50% of menopausal women used hormone therapy. Today, even though you see it everywhere, that number remains under 6%. So we had 2 decades where women were told their symptoms were normal. but treatment was dangerous. That combination left a lot of women untreated and unheard. And how this affects clinicians or affected clinicians, this also shaped medical education. An entire generation of clinicians was trained under fear instead of data. Menopause care largely disappeared from training. Many clinicians were afraid to prescribe hormones, never taught updated evidence, practicing defensive medicine. Most coming out of residency don't feel like they can prescribe. And really, it was about incomplete education. So, what the FDA removal means now, the FDA reviewed more than 20 years of follow up data. And we now understand several critical things. Timing matters. Starting closer to menopause is very different than starting later. Type and route matter. For many women, benefits outweigh the risks. This change doesn't mean that hormone therapy is for everyone. It means we can finally have honest, individualized conversations based on science, not on fear. And what this means for women watching at home. If you were told hormones were never safe, if you've been suffering in silence, or if you're confused by conflicting information, this is an invitation. It's an invitation to ask questions, revisit old decisions, and advocate for yourself. Menopause care is finally catching up to the evidence. This isn't about going backward, it's about correcting the record. Women deserve care that's evidence-based, individualized, and compassionate. And this FDA decision is a major step forward. The biggest risk for many women wasn't hormone therapy, it was being left untreated.